Hey guys, this is Tim Trevathan with Tim Trevathan Homes, your go-to Atlanta realtor. And in this video, I'm covering the topic on how to buy a new construction home here in Georgia. It is a big process and quite different from a resale, so that's why I'm sharing this information to you. Now, this is part two of two-part in the series of how to buy a new construction home. So if you haven't watched part one, make sure to check out the link below in the description where I share that information, as well as in the link above to part one. And any kind of questions to what is the home buying process like, to what is a first walkthrough and a second walkthrough, and what happens in each of those walkthroughs. What are some potential pitfalls to know about and be aware of in new construction? How long does it typically take to close on a new construction home? Should I do a pre-drywall home inspection or just a regular home inspection when it gets closer to closing date? I cover all these details, some in part one, and even in more depth and detail here in part two. So hope you guys enjoy this. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video as well. So going back to this, like I mentioned before, base cost $594,900, lot fee like I mentioned that you would get, and structural fee as well, and elevation. Now you might be thinking, well, Tim, I thought the design option is extra money for upgrades in addition to that. But I don't see that anywhere in what you're talking about. Lot fee, structural fee, elevation. So here's what I want to make sure that you guys know. The structural fee is partially having to do with the upgrades. It has to do with structural items that could be the outside of the home, like covered porch could be a structural item. It could be, something else like, I don't know, railing that you want, just random kind of things like that. But when it comes to design center, that has to do with mostly the things inside the home, okay? So that has to do with like the type of granite you want in your countertops for your kitchen and master bathroom. It could be the type of stand-up shower that you want that is frameless versus framed. Whether you want a shower pan or you want it tiled. It could mean a tier 1, 2, or 3, depending on the quality. Those are the types of quality for your tile in your bathrooms or the backsplash tile in your kitchen. It could mean having 24-inch shaker cabinets for your kitchen versus 36 inches, which is the upgraded option. Anything from the type of flooring, the type of color hardwood, or it could mean you want LVP versus hardwood, which is a lot of times these days more new construction is going the LVP route because it's more affordable for them. And it still has that hardwood look, but yet it's more durable and water resistant. At least here in Georgia, we're seeing that more. So once you go to this appointment, this is your one and only chance to choose your materials, your design options, okay? Once that's set in place, this is where all builders can be different. Builders could have different ways of doing this. Either they can take the full design center deposit up front, and that is an additional cost that's not tied to your purchase price, or it could be a half a deposit, which is nice because they're not expecting you to pay the other half. That's just built into the price, which is ultimately built into your loan. So that means less money up front that you have to, a cash to close amount to be able to close on the home. I got lucky in 2020 before everything really went up. My earnest money amount was $3,000. My builder deposit was $3,000, and I had no elevation or lot premium. Yeah, that's amazing. These days, you're looking at least a lot premium, again, of $10,000 to $50,000, an elevation cost of $5,000 to $10,000, things like that. For the norm, I would see about $15,000 to $20,000 tacked on to the purchase price based on the upgrades that they choose at the design center. When I say upgrades, there's a lot of standard features, but then there's an upgrade that could add more to the price, and a lot of times there's at least one or two things that buyers end up picking that are considered upgrade items. Okay, so then once you're done with the design center appointment, what's next? So you're basically waiting around. One of the questions I had mentioned earlier is, can you visit the home site while they're building? Of course you can. If you want to go inside the home, they may let you. Just make sure to run it by their sales office, and sometimes they'll give you a hard hat because technically you're supposed to wear a hard hat when you're on a construction site. And then you can go and tour it. While you're waiting, you've already sent in your initial closing disclosure, or sign your initial closing disclosure and your initial documents to the lender, whether it's the preferred lender or your outside lender. So that part's taken care of. And so 2, 3, 4 months could go by and then, you're just waiting. Another question I get is, Tim, do I need a pre-drywall inspection or do I just need a regular home inspection? Out of the 20 new construction homes I've sold, I've had about 18 just do a regular home inspection and 2 that did a pre-drywall inspection. What is a pre-drywall inspection? Basically, that is once the slab has been poured and you've got the framing up, the wood, before they put in the drywall, you have the option of having your inspector come and inspect the home once before then, and then the next inspection, the regular inspection, is when you're basically at a certificate of occupancy, which is when the county has already come, done their inspection, which is great with new construction because you might think that you're reliant completely on your home inspector, but you've got some inspections done by the county too, that they then can issue you or the builder a certificate of occupancy, a CO, that states that this home is in livable condition now, somebody can live in it. Till then, you can opt to do the pre-drywall inspection or not. Again, I only had 2 clients do it. Is it beneficial? Well, for one client, they thought it was because they found some studs that were not doubled up in certain areas where they're supposed to. But that was very rare to see. Honestly, if you're buying a resale home, you never have that option. So typically you don't have a pre-drywall inspection and it's not really a loss to you. But because it is a new construction home, you have that option. So if you want to do it, you can. An inspection fee can run anywhere from $300 to $600, probably around $400 or $500 is average. So you're gonna have to pay that twice. Just know that. If you're willing to, then go for it. What is the negotiation process like with repairs? Well, usually about 30 days to 2 weeks out from closing, they will say that you can do your own independent home inspection. The great thing about new construction is 97% of the time, the builder will honor all the things that are on the inspection report and will have them done. With resales, a lot of times when negotiating, I see sellers will be willing to give a credit or do a repair if it's a code violation or a safety hazard. All right. With new construction, it could be pretty much everything because it's a new home. It should be. That's their fiduciary obligation to issue you and sell you a completed home. What is the 3% where they didn't do something? All right. Well, one thing that inspectors have to, I guess, for their profession, so that, for liability reasons, that they have to put in there is gaps in the siding. So if you got cement siding on the exterior of your home, a lot of times there's gaps. There's nothing wrong with these gaps, although they'll mention that it needs to be sealed, but many times these days with new home builders, they have flashing, this metallic aluminum look that's behind the cement siding so that there's not gonna be any water intrusion coming in from rainwater. So they don't need to seal the gaps. And in fact, if the builder does, or if you get somebody to do it, it voids the warranty on it. So that's one thing that builders won't do that an inspector will say needs to be done. Another thing I saw was, one time there was a townhome, a client bought new construction, and the inspector recommended that there be a GFCI outlet, electrical outlet, located behind the fridge. According to the builder, that was not a code item, so they didn't do it. My buyer, it's okay, they move forward, they purchase a home, they're a happy homeowner. A couple things that you might think, well, what could they possibly find? You'd be surprised at how many things that you will find and why you need a home inspection done, even on a new construction home. For example, an attic vent is installed backwards. There is, an outlet that's missing an outlet cover, which that's a very simple thing and they'll probably find in their own inspection. A code item where if I believe it's 24 inches above grade, meaning above the ground, as far as like a staircase or a patio in the back, that you need to have a railing for safety that needs to be installed, or you must raise the grade up, so put more soil on top of the current soil, so that it's less than 48 inches. Those are some of the things that I found. Some builders are better than others. So what are the good builders for new construction here in Georgia? All right, so this is highly debatable, and really sometimes it's hard to tell until you've already bought the home and lived in it for a couple years. My home builder is Almont Homes. I thought they're great. The home warranty, they did a phenomenal job. Home warranty is like a magical protection item because I had a doorbell that went awry. In fact, it was not the doorbell button, it was the doorbell chimer itself. It started spazzing out and wouldn't stop chiming for 30 minutes straight. Had the guy come in, replace the old one with a brand new one. I had a piece of hardwood that had been chipped off within 2 months of living in the home because my dog's toenail ripped it up. They came in, chiseled away at that piece, removed it, put in a brand new piece of hardwood. I had, during the home warranty, and those are emergency items which you can call at any point in time. Now, as far as when you typically have it done, they recommend the 11th month because the home warranty covers the first year, and on the 11th month, that's when you'll see all the imperfections or flaws start to reveal themselves. Nail pops, pieces of wood broken, caulking that needs to be recaulked, that they will ask you to go ahead and submit a service request order then. And make sure you do it on the 11th month and so that they can get all those orders in. Do the repairs need to be done before that when your warranty is up? No. It just needs to be ordered and then have the guys get ready to come and do the work. I had it done, like a couple things left on the 13th, 14th month even. I had a squeaky floor. They didn't have the nails completely nailed in and they were missing nails, and really technically there should be screws. That would be a lot better. But again, builders are starting to get cheap these days. And they literally tore the carpet, or they pulled the carpet out, put in the nails, put the carpet back. It looked brand new. Couldn't even tell that they had pulled the carpet up. And then when I walk over that spot on the upper level, right in front of the laundry room, doesn't squeak at all, no more. Will you find things messed up after your 1 year home warranty's up? Yes. I found a couple other places that squeaked in the house. Can't do anything about it after that point. At that point, it's your responsibility. You have to hire your own contractor, get the work done. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the process. What does it look like in the final 2 weeks? You've got, with most builders, a first walkthrough, also called the orientation, which is when you will meet the builder himself and he will go through every detail of the home. Every appliance, how it works, the smart home devices like a Nest thermostat, for example, where the main water shutoff is with the water heater, or just the whole plumbing system in the house. Typically it's next to the water heater or on the water heater. And that's what takes place then. Usually you do the inspection a few days to a week before that first walkthrough so that the builder will have already addressed a lot of the issues, maybe not all of it, but started already to address some of those issues by the time you do the first walkthrough. Any outstanding items will be done almost always by the time you do the second walkthrough. The second walkthrough is usually the day of closing or 1 day before, where everything is done. If everything looks good, you approve by signing on this form that you approve and acknowledge that everything has been completed by the builder. Is there anything that is not done after closing? Have you experienced that, Tim? Yes. Only twice though. It's called a survival list. It survives after closing. Builders hate these, they don't want them, all right? So they're gonna do everything they can to close on it. So, I've had a couple builders, they got scared. They think, Tim, the home doesn't look like it's gonna complete on time. You'll be surprised at how fast the new construction process goes in that last month, all right? It goes pretty fast in that last month. Once the framing, the drywall's in, the paint, the hardwood floors and the appliances, all the other things get taken care of really fast. So once that second and what's also called final walkthrough is done, then you have the closing. The day of, or I say usually 1 or 2 days before, you wanna wire the money to the closing attorney's escrow account, which will then be released to the builder at closing once you sign your documents. Just like a resale home closing, you go through the process of signing all your loan documents, the closing disclosures, sometimes ahead of time electronically to save time, so that when you're at the closing table, you just got other documents like, understanding the foreclosure process. That if you don't pay your mortgage payment, you can be subject to pre-foreclosure and so forth. Tenants in common or tenants with rights of survivorship, which type of ownership that you want. And then you get your keys, garage door openers. Since you're buying a new construction home, a seller will not be present, nor will the builder. It will just be you, your agent, and the attorney. This closing takes anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, 15 minutes usually. So that's the new construction process. Now, I'm not done yet, because you're probably wondering, do I need an agent, Tim? You explained a lot of great stuff, and I'm very thankful. Now I know and I feel confident I can go buy a new home. Is there anything that you can really do for me to help? Yes. Hear me out. First and foremost, it's a negotiation process, whether it's before or during. You might be asking, well, what takes place before? Twice, I have put in offers, even though typically you get a sample contract mailed to you and you buy the house for the price that they offer. In 2018, once, and then also at the end of 2020, twice. Those 2 times, we put in an offer that was lower than what they asked for and they accepted it. Why was this and how did this happen? Well, I don't know if you realize, but in summer of 2018, that was when the interest rate went up to 5%, when it had been 3.5%, 4% for a long time. They weren't able to sell homes as well. And then October 2022 was also the time period where prices took a dip after interest rates skyrocketed from 3 to 7%. But I don't think I have seen that or happening anytime soon again. They still have incentives, but a lot of times it's buying down the rate. So that's the main thing. But I've negotiated on pricing and also with inspection items. When some things that they think that shouldn't be done, I've pushed and got them done. Another thing is timing. Sometimes it looks like they're not gonna close on time. And one time I told a contractor, this trim needs to be painted. We're closing today. I need this done now. And he was like, okay. He didn't realize the time that he had, which was very limited. Another thing that I bring value is helping you to facilitate in choosing great upgrades for your house. Ultimately, it's up to you. I get it. I may offer a suggestion that, hey, this tier 3 backsplash will add value to your kitchen. This color hardwood may add value to your whole house so that if and when you decide to sell the home, you will get the maximum resale value. Also, another thing is knowing the pros and cons of every builder. For example, Meritage Homes has the foam insulation, which is seen by some to be superior to the fiberglass insulation because it's more durable, long-lasting, and more effective. There's a lot of other things, though, that I know about other builders, so that's another reason why you'd want to work with me. Another reason is that I have connections to the best loan officers, aka mortgage lenders, inspectors, contractors. While you're getting pre-approved, I've got the best lender to help you do that. That while you're doing the inspection, that I have the best inspector in Atlanta that can be very thorough in the process. That even after closing and after your 1-year home warranty expires, that I have contractors that you can call that are very reliable, reasonably priced, and will do the job well for anything, whether it's plumbing, electrical, heating and air, or general handyman. Another thing that I add value is being actively there on the home site to take pictures. Now, if you're coming from out of state buying a new construction home and you only saw it once while you're there at the sales office while going under contract, or saw rendered photos online, those are the only things that you had to go off of. Or if I had one client, for example, bought a home and they're moving from South Atlanta to here in Northeast Atlanta for the school district. As their kids were growing older, they wanted to put them in a better school district. I was going over there, taking pictures of the inside and the outside, videos, and sending them to my client on a weekly basis or maybe twice a month basis for 5 months, so that they didn't have to do the long trek to go up there and see it themselves, and they felt comfortable at getting all the updates. And simply put, just being your advocate. You saw how thorough this video was. This is how I would explain it to every one of my buyers. And really just understanding the process from slab, foundation, all the way to closing. I'm very familiar with the process, and also having good relationships with a lot of these new construction builders. So, do you need an agent to purchase a new construction house? Yes. I hope I could be your agent. I hope this video has been helpful. Again, you can call, text, email me, however you want to get a hold of me to buy a home. Even if it's selling a home, I do everything, resale, new construction, whatever it is. So I hope this video has been helpful. I know it's a really long one, probably my longest yet, but I want to cover everything possible. So stick around, please subscribe, catch you on the next video.